Hi, this is David. I want to do a video on Mike Norton. I've never met Mike Norton. I was just watching an older John Dolin program interviewing this gentleman. Um, and again, I don't know. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's the twilight of my days. But I didn't know Mike Norton. I didn't even know what his name was until tonight. When I was doing my videos, I started in 2011, and I still use them for therapy. I don't care if anybody looks at them. I don't need a trophy. I don't need anyone clapping their hands and a plaque on the wall. I had all that stupid, stupid crap when I worked. Mike Norton. When I was doing my videos, there were many, many times that I told my audience about the Mormon ceremony in the temple of the Mormon church. The clothing, the pale, the chanting, the handshakes, the robes, the costumes, the baker's hats, the silliness. And in those days, there was no internet, and there really weren't any books. There wasn't really any verification of what I was saying was true. I spent a lot of lonely hours knowing that it was true, but I couldn't prove it. I can always say health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and in the sinews, power in the priesthood be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. I can repeat that silliness. Being a veil worker, being an elders quorum teacher, 4-year seminary student, sending 2 kids on a mission, 3 temple marriages, 14 children, graduate BYU. I couldn't prove it. And then one day, there was a person. His name was Newname Noah, like Noah's Ark. Newname Noah. Now, it just occurred to me just now, 15 seconds ago, I think that's his temple name. That never even occurred to me till just this moment. My name in the temple was Abel. Cain was my brother. Abel was my new name in the temple. And I didn't know that Newname Noah was probably his temple name. I didn't know that he was a member of the church. I didn't know anything about this man until tonight, and it's only been, an hour that I've watched the first session. I don't have to see a lot to know. I don't. It's just a gift that I have. I listened to this man tonight, and Mike, I want to let you know that I had a lot of criticism. I had a lot of doubters. I had a lot of pressure. I had a lot of hateful things that were said, that I was making things up about the Mormon temple. And then one day I got a video, and the name of the person that did the video was Newname Noah. I never heard of him. Who the hell is this guy? There's a lot of kooks out there. God, is this just another kook? Well, I pulled the video up. Just pulled it up just a few minutes ago, 50 years later. And it's the temple ceremony in the Mormon church. How the hell, back in those days, did anybody get in there with a camera and with a microphone and dressed up in all of that silly clothing and all the standing, stooping, bending over, shaking hands, pale? How the hell could they photograph the entire temple ceremony, endowment ceremony of the Mormon church? Well, as soon as Newname Noah did that, which in my recollection, it was the only person and the newest person, first person, to ever have a video with pictures and sound of a Mormon endowment ceremony. Oh my gosh, well, the word that came to me, and you know me, I'm so crude, the word is orgasm. But let me go back to being normal and being reasonable. I was very excited. I was so excited that somehow this human being got in there, got that on tape, got that on audio and video, and everybody could look at Sir David the Bard and say, God, he's not lying. He's not cheating. He's not making this shit up. That's exactly a picture of people in a Mormon temple in an endowment ceremony. Well, I didn't know anything about Newname Noah. I didn't know if he ever had a podcast. I didn't know if he had a job. I didn't know if he was in jail. I didn't know if he was dead. And I had one of my contacts yesterday. I talked to them, and they said, Newname Noah knows about you. Shit, nobody. I have very few viewers. You know, the Cockroach Disability Law Center, my website, Cockroach Disability Law Center, people don't know about. I don't advertise it much. I'll say it a few times on videos, but it's brand new and it's having some success. And I don't know how or why, but anyway, Newname Noah. So she said, well, Newname Noah knows about you. And I remember when you did your video with you jumping up and down on camera, thanking him and knowing that he validated and vetted the Mormon temple endowment ceremony. Well, I got thinking last night, well, I don't know. Is this guy alive and well? And this technology, I just have a voice button on YouTube. And I have several YouTubes and TVs and whatever. And I just push my voice remote. It said, Newname Noah. Bam. Up comes John Dehlin and Mike Nelson. I can't remember his name because I know him as Newname Noah. He comes up. And I go, God, he's intelligent. He's well-spoken. And then I listened to his story. And again, when I hear these Mormon stories and these podcast people, even John Dehlin with also the Tanners, and now I see this one. I've stayed away from these personal tragedies because I get so emotional. I get so angry. I get so upset that this cult is so mean and so vicious, and it takes these kind, gentle, innocent people and just bullies them, beats them up, steals their money, makes fun of them, breaks their family up. It's incredible that these kind human beings let this cult, satanic cult, take such advantage of them and abuse them. And in watching him tonight, he made me laugh a couple of times. He said he was on a mission in Ventura, California. Well, I lived in Ojai, California, and that was only about 10 miles from Ventura Township, and from the ocean, 10 miles. Ventura, Seaward Avenue is right there on the Pacific Ocean. So he was in my mission. Not my mission, but his mission was in my ward and my stake center. Well, we're several years apart, probably 2 decades apart. So we didn't know each other. We didn't cross each other. But I laughed and laughed because I was in the Santa Barbara stake when Ojai Ward was first built. And my parents and me, we donated our damn boat to the Mormon church that they could sell and get money and buy 2x4s and bricks for the Ojai Ward building. And we went to church in Ventura. They had a very, very old church. It was kind of like an old Presbyterian church where I got my patriarchal blessing, which I'll be putting online here in the next couple of videos. And President Hodgson was his name. I'm sure he's been dead 50 years. But I had my patriarchal blessing in that Ventura ward house. And so I was laughing and laughing that his mission was in my stake. I didn't know him. I didn't know his name, etc. But I saw the video and it just makes me laugh. Well, he also said on his mission, which I really was laughing my ass off on this one, that he was a good missionary, but He's weak. Like me. He's weak. And beautiful girls. And, I think Mike and I are both very heterosexual, if you know what I mean. I mean, God, I've got 14 children. They were just not planted on the balcony. They were created. So he said on his mission that he was doing very, very well, and he was like the district manager or whatever the stupid positions are. But he was high up on the mission, and then came across. I can't remember her name. It's funny as hell. I wish I could. But he came across this beautiful girl, and I think he went over for dinner, he said, and she handed him a letter note under the table. Back in the days before there were phones and intercoms and whatever, we communicated by having a small scrap of paper, and we'd put, "Do you love me? Yes or no?" And we'd fold it and put it to a adjacent mate or girlfriend. And so I guess she folded a little note up and said, "I'd like to meet you outside, and let's hide from your companion. Let's hide from my parents. And I'm beautiful. I'm hot. I'm desirable. And do you really want to be that much of a missionary?" He's like me. I would go, "No, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a good missionary. I'll meet you outside," if you know what I mean. So they went outside, I guess, and met, and dodged the parents, dodged his companion, and made out, and engaged. I'm making this up now. Petting, engaged in sexual conduct. I don't think that they were undressed. I don't think that they, fornicated or whatever. He didn't mention that, but that's not even important. The funny part is that she invited him to, I don't know, Delilah. Wasn't it Delilah that enticed Samson to say, "How did you get so strong? Did you cut your hair?" And Bathsheba, she's one of my favorites in the Bible too. His name was David. And my name is David. And he's just innocent. He's standing out on the balcony, and he sees Bathsheba, and she didn't cover up. I don't know if she was fucking waving. I don't know if she was, "Hey, it's me. And my husband you put in the army, and he's at war, and I'm hot. And could I come over and play?" Well, David and Bathsheba got together, and he was weak for beautiful women. And of course, it was terrible that Uriah, her husband, was in the military and came home even and wouldn't even sleep at home. And David was trying to cover up the relationship, and I think she was pregnant. And he put Uriah back in the front lines of the war, and he was killed. So, that was a hard story. Well, getting back here to Mike, I understand more than you know. I understand Mike being temporarily weak on his mission and his journey to find out that the Mormon Church is a hoax. It's a cult. It's not true. It's vicious. And we all need to get out of it and resign and get our names off the records that we were never there. I don't want to be on the records of Nazi Germany as an SS officer. I don't want to be the oracle. I can't think of the name of the KKK, the head of the KKK, the Grand Wizard. Is that what it is? I don't want my name on that record, and I don't want it on the Mormon Church record. I want to get rid of it. Well, let me get back to Mike. Mike, I really enjoyed your personality. I really enjoyed your honesty, your integrity. And I can't thank you enough. I didn't have the balls to put a camera on my forehead and walk into the Manti, the Salt Lake, and the Washington, D.C. temple and photograph the fools that were all lined up going Pele Ale. And, this is the first token of the Melchizedek priest, the patriarchal gripper, sure sign of the nail. All of that crap had nothing to do with the words and the principles of Jesus Christ. And it's taken all of us a time period to find that out. It's a journey different for each person. Well, let me finish with Mike. He mentioned that his last day on his mission was in Thousand Oaks, California. Well, guess what? I lived in Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park Ward in California. Now, I don't know if it was at the same time period. I haven't checked that out, and I don't care. But I think it's a hell of a coincidence that the mission that he had was in my hometown area of Ojai, California, and that basically the last day of his mission, I think he said he preached to a little congregational church or something in Thousand Oaks, and I was in the Newberry Park ward of the Thousand Oaks stake. So we were within 5 miles, 2 miles of each other a lot of times. So those are coincidences. They're pleasant for me to hear. They're pleasant for me to understand what a wonderful man he is. Again, he has bigger balls than me. I had a friend here the other day, and we were talking and laughing back and forth. And he said one of the most prophetic things to me in my life that I ever heard. And he said to me, David, don't let your big brass balls get in the way of your life. I've listened to that, and I've put that into my category of thinking, behaving, talking, whatever. Well, I didn't have the big enough brass balls to get arrested for the Mormon Church. When he trespassed, I forget which temple it was. He was on the grounds of a temple, and of course, the FBI, CIA committee to strengthen the members, and the return missionaries that say, I'm security, temple security, and you're trespassing, and they called the police, and he went off to jail for 5 days. And I thought, well, what bullshit again. Look at how these people who are pioneers of dragging this cult information into the public domain. And I said, go look at my videos. I said probably 2015 or so, the internet came out to the general public. When I saw what it was, I was a better prophet than Joseph Smith. I said, you know what? The internet is going to be the end of the Mormon Church. We're all seeing that right now. The membership has stagnated. The resignations are way up. Missionaries are coming home early from their mission in droves. There used to be one general authority that took care of missionaries that came home early, and now there's 12 general authorities that have to process and accommodate all the missionaries that are going, Jesus Christ, I've been sent to a fucking country I know nothing about. I've been sent with a Book of Mormon that is not true. It's false. I'm asking these poor people to pay pesos and dinero and to these 15 assholes in Salt Lake City that buy Cadillacs and buy second homes, get free education from the church system, get a double six-figure, around $200,000 stipend. They have $300 billion, and they give less than 1%. They keep 99% of their money from me and you, our tithing and our fast offerings, for themselves and their investment portfolio. Today I went on AI, and I said, AI, the Mormon Church is giving 0.8% of its funds to poor people. How much does Walmart give? They're not a church. They're a corporation that has to make money, has to pay employees overtime, sick pay, stock options. They have to deal with the public. And they have to pay for their cameras, pay for their insurance, pay. They're not nonprofit. They have to pay taxes on every damn penny that comes into Walmart. AI came back and said, well, David, the Mormon church pays less than 1% of their assets to the poor. Walmart pays 10.7% of their profit to charity. I'm astounded. How can anybody hear this video, hear these numbers, and be a member of the Mormon church going, geez, I'm going over to Walmart and buy some eggs, and they're going to give 10.7% of the money that I'm buying these eggs with to poor children and homeless people. And the Mormon church, if I was buying this from the Mormon church, they would give 0.8% of the money that I'm spending. Does any of this make sense to anybody but me? Does any of this make sense to anybody but me? If Walmart Corporation is giving more money to the poor, and they're a retail establishment, and the Mormon church was a church, it's not a church, it's a corporation, plain church, gives 0.8%, and Walmart doesn't have, I don't think Walmart is $300 billion. It's big. I could check with AI. It's not one of the Magnificent Seven or whatever. But again, $300 billion, the Mormon church can't afford one bologna sandwich. One bologna sandwich to the poor kids that I saw in the Mormon wards in Butuan City in the Philippines. They couldn't buy $15 of penicillin for my adopted daughter, Allison, who had typhoid fever and was dying. And when she was in an LDS family, they couldn't afford to pay that to help save Allison. I paid the $20. And Allison is alive. She's a beautiful young lady. I adopted her and her sister, brought them here to America. She's going to have a baby in about 7 months. One of my, whatever it is, 40 or 50 grandchildren. So, Newname Noah, thank you for letting me see you on TV. Thank you for your personality. Thank you so much for coming up with that damn video. That was bigger than my brass balls. I admire that. I wasn't that brave. I'm still not that brave. We all have a way to put pieces of the puzzle together. My forte is lawsuits. I sue the Mormon Church for my new name removal. Not new name, but my regular name removal. So my forte is the law. I make them be accountable for the lies, the cheating, and the stealings in federal court. You basically stood on the lawn, went to jail for trespassing. You were handing out folders or flyers and helping. Ed Decker, is that his name? I don't remember. But anyway, we have some commonality. Now let me close this video. I hope I can do this without going to jail. See, they can't excommunicate me anymore. They wish they could. They wish they could. They're going to buy YouTube, and this shit's going to go down the shitter. We all know that. But, as long as it's there, you can see it, and maybe it'll do some good. Maybe it won't. But, Mike, I was going to tell you, when I was a senior in high school, I was a member of the church. My family were all members of the church. We were sealed in the temple. I went to 4 years of seminary, BYU, graduate, the whole thing. I was a born again Mormon. I don't know if there's such a thing. Well, anyway, there was this young lady. You confessed on video, and you gave me the name. What did you say, Darlene? Her name, I was thinking in Ojai, my old ward was the Darlene family. But anyway, you sinned. You sinned. You kissed. You sinned. You hugged. You caressed. You were a normal human being. And of course, the cult is in control of all penises, vaginas, and breasts on females. They don't have control of male breasts. just female breasts. But anyway, I was in high school, Mike, and I had a girl who was a member of the church. And we used to meet in her father's house before the Ojai Ward was built in Ventura. We didn't have an Ojai Ward building. We met in the, I shouldn't say her name. I don't want to embarrass her. We met in a home. Her father's name, I'll say, is Jed. Jed, and they had a beautiful home, mansion way up on the hill. A lot of rich people in Ojai, a lot of rich people in the Mormon church in Ojai. So we would go in for priesthood meeting and sacrament meeting, and we would meet in his great big house, huge living room with, chandeliers and like a castle. He'd put up all the chairs, Jed. Well, Jed owned the Frosty in Ojai. There was no McDonald's, no Wendy's, nothing in those days. It was just a little 1950s kind of ice cream shop. And Jed owned that, and that's how he made his money to support. And they had, I don't know, 8, 9, or 10 children. And this one girl, I want to be careful. I'm just going to say her sexuality. She was a female, a real female, if you know what I mean. And so I was up at Jed's house one night, and it was dark, and I had my car. Triple black, 57 Chevy. It was cool. I was trying to be James Dean, Elvis, and I actually was probably something other than those two. Well, anyway, I had her. Her name starts with M, like mother. She was cute as hell, and I'm a sucker for black hair and black eyes. And beautiful women. If anyone could send me a package of that in the Mormon church, if the 15 would send me one of those, I would withdraw my lawsuit. They could keep their money, and my weakness would come out. So anyway, I had her in my car, and in those days, the front seat of a car was not a good place to make out. The steering wheel and the shifter, if you had a hearse shifter, it was on the ground floor in the center. You had a bench seat in those days, but you could not make out real good in the front seat of a 57 Chevy. So I said to Miss M, would you like to meet with me in the back seat of my 57 Chevy parked in Jed's driveway, probably 50 feet from this huge, beautiful mansion with her 8 or 9 brothers and sisters in there, and Jed and his wife in there. Miss M, would you like to meet me in the back seat? And she said yes. I was shocked. And I've said to everybody, I was a virgin when I married my first wife, Janice. In the Manti Temple, but my mouth and my hands were not virgins, but my penis was. Well, I think it was. I don't know. The BYU soaking. No, I wasn't smart enough to do soaking in those days at all. That's you young people have figured that shit out. I wish that I knew that in those days. But anyway, Miss M and I got in the back seat of the car, and we're making out like crazy. And like I said, the steering wheel and the gear shift in the front seat of those old cars, you couldn't. You could have high heels rip the headliner. I did have to repair my headliner on several occasions, if you know what I mean. High heels ripped the shit out of a headliner. But anyway. And Miss M, almost said her name, and I got in the back seat. Well, we're making out, and we're kissing and hugging and caressing and whatever you want to call it. And my hand got an idea. This did not come from my head at all, or my mouth, or my spirit, or my heart, or my soul. The hand said, I usually say to the hand, speak to the wall. But the hand said, David, I'm not speaking to the wall. I'm speaking to your body. And I'm a hand of a man, boy. And I'd kind of like to feel something maybe a little strange. And I said, well, hand, I'm with you. I said, hand, do what you got to do. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. So Miss M, she was, let me use the right words. She was, I think you could say stimulated. That would not get thrown off of YouTube. She was stimulated and agreeable. And when I spoke to the hand and I said, go for it, let me be. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. When I said to the hand, go for it, the hand left my body. And I want to bear testimony to this. My hand was not attached to my body at all. But it, I was going to say went down, but the direction it went down, it didn't go down, if you know what I mean. It went down on Miss M. And it seemed to, the right word would be explore. It was like Lewis and Clark on an exploration. So anyway, it decided to explore. Well, now we're there making out, and my right hand, it had to go to the bishop and confess. My left hand sat there quietly. It's kind of like a Siamese twin. It said, I didn't do anything, sir. Bishop, it was the right hand. And the right hand had to bow its head and say yes and pay money. So anyway, I was there and we're making out, and suddenly in the middle of my hand, I want to use the right words, during exploration, it peeked out of the darkness, if you know what I mean, and said, David, Jed, her father, can be a real asshole. He's big, he's strong, and he probably has a fucking shotgun. Do you really want me to continue to speak with his daughter? Well, again, in those days I had little balls. I didn't have big brass balls that I have these days. And so my little balls said, David, get your fucking hand out of where it's at, and repent and send her in the house to her father. Well, that's my confession, Mike, that I was in the back seat of my 57 Chevy, and when I went to get my temple recommend and go to BYU for my ecclesiastical endorsement, when the state president and the bishop said, do you live the law of chastity? And I said, I certainly do, because he never says, does your hand live the law of chastity? Does your mouth live the law? Oh, no. They never asked that question. I never answered it. So I got to go to the temple. That was a nightmare, just going to the temple. I wish that I had said, no, I don't live the law of chastity. Please keep me away from this cult. But anyway, Mike, I want to admire you. I want to compliment you. You were a true pioneer. Very similar. I've done a video for John Dolin and also Sandra Tanner. And this is my third one to you, my new name, Noah. How important your videos are to me, how refreshing that there are good human beings here, and you're one of them. And the struggles that you went through, resigning, getting out of there, the time you spent on your mission, they're making you feel guilty, beating you up. And I really admire how much time you put into exploring the emperor, and his new clothes. I would have never spent anywhere near the time you spent reading, cross-referencing, and book after book after book, proving this was a cult, this was satanic, and Joseph Smith was a pedophile. You called him I forget if you said a fake or I don't know if you said false prophet. I'm getting old. Sometimes I can't remember everything. But anyway, I think he was a pedophile. And I just want you to know that your pioneering of that endowment tape put a big, big plus in the Jesus column. A lot of people were able to see and go to our Lord and our God, Jesus Christ, and his principles. That the Mormon temple had nothing to do with Jesus Christ. The Book of Mormon has nothing to do with Doctrine and Covenant has nothing to do with Jesus. The Pearl of Great Price, the Book of Abraham, the comprehensive history of the church, the Joseph Smith papers. How many times do we need to look at the new clothes of the emperor? Do we have to look at his fingers? Do we have to look at his knees? Do we have to look at his feet, his ankle, the back of his head? I think you did more than totally explore the emperor and his new clothing. It didn't take me as long. I wasn't as intelligent. I wasn't as tedious and tenacious as you were, reading and documenting. Because to me, I went on the emotion of love, compassion, and the principles of Christ. They led me right away from the Mormon church almost instantly. I didn't care if the emperor had no clothes. Didn't bother me. I don't care. I knew from my heart, my spirit, and my mind, and, I'm going to say to you, the Urantia book. If you don't look up the Urantia book and look in there at the life of Jesus Christ, you're going to shortchange yourself. Cross-reference the Urantia book and the King James version of the Bible. That's been very helpful to me to extrapolate all of the principles of Christ. So anyway, the little girl the one on your mission, you were very weak. Well, no, wait, I can't remember. I was very weak too. It wasn't just Miss M. I do remember. I'll give you another name. Her name was T, Miss T, like in Terry, if you know what I mean. Well, I got Terry in my dad's old Pontiac with a big steering wheel in the front seat and the shifter. And I had the shifter in park in her father's pretty steep parking lot. And Terry wanted to speak to the hand. This hand has been the most evil. They say if something's evil, you should cut it off. But I don't, because it brings me such pleasure. Anyway, Terry and I were engaging in exploratory activities again when I was in high school. She was a Mormon. Miss M was a Mormon, and Terry was a Mormon. And we got a little bit more active than Miss M. And when Terry was jumping around, she knocked the car out of